I never expected my mother-in-law to fall severely ill and get rushed to the emergency room. I called my wife immediately, dialing her over and over again till she finally picked up right around dawn. She sighs. I'm at the hospital waiting to deliver, you know that. KBT lost his ability to have kids just to save me, so I absolutely must deliver his only child. I stayed quiet for a second, then told her mom is in emergency care. The doctors say it looks pretty bad. Before I could even finish, my wife furiously cuts me off. Enough, she snaps. If you want to trick me into coming home, at least find a decent excuse. My mom has always been perfectly healthy. How could she suddenly fall so ill? Right after that, the line just goes completely dead. Unwilling to give up, I sent one more message. Mom is truly in the air right now. I just do not want you regretting this later. But she quickly replies that she will never regret it. If she regrets anything, it is not seeing my true colors sooner, daring to actually jinx her own mother like that. Later, she collapses by her mother's resting place, crying until her eyes turn red and her voice goes hoarse. That day was the 1-month celebration for her and KBT's child. Also, the exact 1-month memorial since her mother passed away. Right now, the surgery lights flick off. The doctor steps out, looking incredibly heartbroken, and just silently shakes his head at me. I wanted to say something, but the words reached my lips and simply refused to come out. My mother-in-law gets wheeled out of the operating room, fully covered in a white sheet, as 2 nurses take her downstairs. I just follow behind them in a complete daze. The 2 nurses whisper this poor woman. She did not even get to see her daughter one last time before passing. The other replies exactly. I wonder if her daughter's heart is completely freezing or just made of solid ice. My mind clears up a bit, grabbing my phone to send my wife a text. Then mount. Mom is gone, no reply. I try to call, but KBT answers, telling me she is still in the delivery room. Do you actually need something? I tell him to please pass on a message. Her mother is gone, and the funeral is tentatively scheduled for about a week from now. KBT just says got it. Anything else? Hearing his completely indifferent tone, I subconsciously let out a bitter, self-deprecating laugh, and do not say another word. The call gets abruptly hung up right after that. Exactly the same way then Mount had hung up on me earlier. My mother-in-law is quietly moved downstairs, and the doctor advises me not to grieve too heavily, and to go home and rest. I just shake my head. I want to stay with Mom. The doctor says nothing else, just sighing deeply before leaving with the 2 nurses. I stand completely frozen in front of that heavy door. Now brace yourself for this. 2 hours later, my phone buzzes with then Mount's new social media post. In the photo, she is lying on a hospital bed, her face absolutely glowing with a mother's joy. Right beside her is a tiny life wrapped up in a blanket. The caption simply reads, "Mother and child are both perfectly safe." The comment section is completely flooded with blessings. I think about my mother-in-law lying downstairs right now, passing away without ever seeing her daughter one last time. My heart instantly tightens up. I carefully type out every single word. Let us get a divorce. Hitting send, and just like before, there is absolutely zero reply. From falling madly in love at first sight, to silently chasing then Mount throughout 4 entire years of college, and then being married for 3, she has been a constant presence in my life for 7 whole years. Putting her first in my heart had genuinely just become a natural, built-in habit. 3 years ago, when we went to register our marriage, she warned me, if you ever dare to wrong me in the future, I will absolutely never forgive you. Back then, just laughed out loud, telling her she was overthinking things way too much. On our actual wedding day, my mother-in-law solemnly placed her daughter's hand right into mine, telling me, I am leaving then Mount in your care now. I nodded incredibly hard. My mother-in-law was always so good to me. I had been an orphan since childhood, never once getting to experience a real mother's love. Through her, I felt a mother's warmth for the very first time. From the bottom of my heart, I saw her as my own true mom. Because she ran a company, right after marrying then Mount, I joined the business to work. Keeping our marriage a total secret, I started from the bottom as a junior employee. Call it pride, or call it male ego, honestly, neither is wrong. I simply wanted to prove I was capable, and fully determined to take really good care of then Ant. Even though work kept me incredibly busy, no matter how exhausted I felt returning home, I always tried my best to stay gentle, never bringing any of the difficulties or the heavy stress from the office to her ears. She cared about me a lot too, massaging me every single night before bed, even telling stories like she was coaxing a child to sleep. I really thought we would stay like that forever, but you know how these things go. Everything completely changed the moment her first love, KBT, returned to the country. She started going out constantly, paying way more attention to how she dressed. She stopped sharing fun things about her day. No more massages, no more late-night stories. Sometimes she even looked genuinely annoyed just having to stand there and face me. I just kept comforting myself, trying not to overthink things too much. She still loves me, KBT is just her past. But then Mount got into a bad car accident. KBT saved her, but ended up completely losing his ability to have kids because of it. Then she discovered she was actually pregnant with KBT's child, stubbornly insisting she was going to go ahead and have the baby. In that exact moment, my heart hurt so badly I could not even breathe. Like my entire body was free falling into a bottomless abyss. I already prepared the divorce papers, but my mother-in-law completely broke down, begging me not to divorce Mount, confessing she had a terminal illness. She did not have much time left, and just could not bear seeing her daughter divorce and lose all her happiness before passing on. Thinking about all the wonderful things my mother-in-law did for me, I agreed to painfully struggle through one endlessly long year for her sake. Mom, I finally accomplished exactly what you asked of me. I just hope that in the next life, I can actually be born as your real son. I kneel right outside the facility, bowing my head down hard once before walking away. Back home, I hurriedly start packing up my mother-in-law's final belongings. She lived simply, so there isn't much left behind, and I can easily handle most of it. But her company documents, I have absolutely no idea what to do with them, because I already made my decision. Once I officially divorced Matt, I am leaving the business entirely, and these specific files are heavily tied to the company's future growth. I really do not want to call Matt again, but to hand over these documents, it is best to just find her. After thinking for a long while, I finally make the call. The moment it connects, I hear a baby crying. Next comes Matt's scolding voice. She complains that the baby just fell asleep, and my call woke him up. What do I want at this hour? I barely open my mouth to mention the company project files before she completely loses her patience and cuts me off. She tells me to just handle those files with her mom and stop asking her. Then she hangs up. This exact situation is far too familiar to me. Now, I'm not even angry anymore, just completely, utterly exhausted. Over the next few days, I completely stop calling Matt. I step up and handle my mother-in-law's final arrangements entirely alone. The paperwork, the ashes, and notifying our relatives for the farewell. I manage every single detail perfectly myself. During this time, I occasionally hear friends and relatives criticizing Matt. I never speak up to defend her, not even knowing what I should say. Am I supposed to tell them she is busy staying with Dat and their baby, leaving absolutely no time for her mother's farewell? Deep down, that careful, gentle affection I used to hold for her makes those harsh words completely impossible for me to say. A full week passes, and the day of the funeral arrives. I text Matt again, telling her today is her mother's funeral, and she should be there. Total silence from her, absolutely no reply. I lose all my remaining expectations and step up to host my mother-in-law's memorial service, entirely on my own. Now watch this heavy contrast. Right during the service, I see Matt post a social media video of her and Dat playing with their baby. She is smiling brightly. The three of them look incredibly happy and warm together. Meanwhile, I watch my mother-in-law's ashes being laid to rest as they shovel the dirt over. An intense, overwhelming feeling of absolute separation rises up deep inside my chest. Solemn mourning and heavy sorrow on this side, joyful laughter on hers. Exactly 1 full month after her mother passed away, I suddenly run into Matt downstairs at my office building. Dat and their new baby are right there beside her too. Lately, I have been incredibly busy managing the business, practically eating and sleeping at the office to ensure the entire company does not stall out. After my mother-in-law passed, I just finished up today, planning to head home and rest, but bump into them right outside. Matt asks me if her mom is at the company. After a month apart, she looks quite a bit thinner, yet her face still glows with a gentle, motherly warmth. I just shake my head and tell her no. She tells me to hurry up and drive them home, anxious to share her happiness with her mom. I frown, looking closely at Dat and the baby. I ask if they are coming too. She says, of course. Dat will stay by her side to help care for her mom, who surely wants to meet her grandchild. After saying that, Matt bends down to tease the baby, cooing about how they will meet grandma soon. Seeing that scene, even though I am absolutely determined to get a divorce and thought I stopped caring, my heart still cannot help but ache a little. Kaibo Dat smiles at me, telling me not to worry. He just wants to stay with Tham Than Mat and the baby, and will not demand she divorce me. He says she is still my wife, and we can obviously still have our own kids. Hearing that nonsense, I cannot hold back a very sarcastic remark. I ask Kaibo Dat if I am supposed to thank him for that. Tham Than Mat's expression instantly darkens. She snaps at me, "How Kwang, stop speaking so sarcastically. Is it not nice to be a happy family together? Why do I have to act like an enemy?" I look straight into Tham Than Mat's eyes, my chest stinging all over again. Only they get to be a happy family together, while I am just an outsider. I take a deep breath. Let's go. I tell them I will take everyone to see her mom, but then I point right at the baby in her arms. Better change that outfit. Bright red is completely inappropriate. She snaps, "How Kwang, are you done?" She says I am controlling a baby's clothes now. If I have a problem, aim it at her, do not drag the child in. Kaibo Dat steps in to explain that today is the baby's 1-month milestone. He and Than Mat booked a hotel and plan to head there together after picking up her mom, hence the red outfit. I show absolutely no emotion. Today is their baby's 1-month party, but it also marks exactly 1 month since her mother passed away. I do not say another word, turning around and walking toward the parking lot. You can probably guess where this drive is heading. Kaibo Dat and Tham Than Mat follow closely behind with the baby, laughing. I drive them while they happily discuss the milestone party, their guest list, and the banquet scale. Halfway there, Tham Than Mat senses something is quite wrong. She points out this is not the way home. I calmly reply that her mom is not home. Tham Than Mat doesn't ask anything else, just going back to discussing plans with Kaibo Dat. The car drives straight to the cemetery. Stepping out, Tham Than Mat freezes for a brief second before glaring at me furiously. She snaps, "How Kwang, what is the meaning of this? Why bring me to a cemetery?" I look straight into her eyes. Her mother is gone, and the funeral is already over. The day her mother passed, she was at the hospital waiting to give birth. From now on, her mother's memorial anniversary is the exact same day her baby was born. Easy to remember, right? What did you say? Tham Than Mat staggers, almost collapsing entirely. Beside her, Kaibo Dat quickly rushes to support her. "Get away," she yells, violently pushing him aside. She screams furiously right at me, demanding to know what nonsense I am talking about. Mom was always healthy, so how did she suddenly pass away? She screams, demanding answers, but compared to her frantic yelling, I'm completely calm. Mom got a terminal illness a whole year ago, you just never noticed. Why didn't you tell me? She cries out. Tham Than Mat just shrieks at me. I give her a pretty cold stare. Would you even believe me if I did? Back then you were busy looking after KBT all day, obsessing over your kid together. Did you ever even think about mom? If you cared even a little bit, you would have seen her health failing, but you absolutely didn't. She stammers, totally speechless, just grabbing her hair in pure agony. What have I done? She whispers. I keep going. The day mom went to the emergency room, I called you so many times until you finally answered in pure annoyance. I told you mom was critical, but you were only worried about KBT's child. Do you even know? Before her surgery, mom held my hand, telling me to treat you well. She really hoped you would show up then, but you never did. Stop it. Stop talking, she begs. Tham Than Mat collapses right onto the floor, tears of bitter regret just pouring down. KBT anxiously kneels to comfort her, telling Than Mat not to be sad. That mom wouldn't want to see her like this, but she just mumbles, completely ignoring him. Mom, I am so sorry, I didn't even get to see you at the very end. KBT tries to soothe her some more, but seeing it fail, he turns his anger entirely on me. Hocang, you are going way too far. Than Mat is heartbroken over losing mom too. If you won't comfort her, fine, but saying things that cut her to the core is just cruel. I just stare at him with zero emotion. Sure, I could comfort her, but when mom lay on that cold operating table, who comforted her? Please, stop talking, she screams out. Tham Than Mat wails hysterically, nearly crawling over to my feet, sobbing and begging. Where is she? I just want to see my mom. Please take me to see her. I tell her I can take her. Even her kid can tag along. But that guy right there? Absolutely not. I point straight at KBT. He yells back, Hocang, I'm grieving too. What gives you the right to stop me from paying my respects? KBT glares at me. Seriously, the sheer audacity of this guy. He is furious, thinking I am ruining his bond with Than Mat. Can he not read the room? Is blaming me seriously more important to you right now than letting me visit her resting place? Than Mat and I have a child, which makes him her grandson, so I absolutely must go. You have zero right to be there, I reply coldly. Enough. Stop talking. Thin Mount stands up, telling him to just stay here with the baby and not come along. KBT's face instantly turns extremely ugly. I'm honestly a bit surprised. Thin Mount agreed to this, but right now, none of that even matters anymore. I lead Thin Mount into the memorial park. She says when mom was critical, called her, and she didn't believe me. That was her fault. But when mom was laid to rest, why didn't you tell me? She seems to think she finally caught my mistake, starting to interrogate me. I am her daughter, and I could not even attend her final farewell. What will our relatives think of me? Saying that, she looks right into my eyes. Do you really hate me that much? You just had to ensure I could never show my face in front of our friends and family again. I just look at her calmly. How do you know I didn't tell you? I didn't just call. I even sent you a message about it. Thin Mount turns pale. Impossible, she says. I never got a single call or text from you. I just scoff, telling her she should probably go ask KBT. Thin Mount takes a step forward, demanding to know what I mean. But before I can answer, KBT suddenly comes running over with the baby. Thin Mount, the baby won't stop crying. You need to check on him. Thin Mount hurriedly takes the child, but no matter how she coaxes him, the baby just keeps crying endlessly. KBT glances over at me, wondering if being at the memorial park is causing it. The energy here is too heavy. It scared the baby. Thin Mount hesitates for a brief second before turning to look at me. Can BT and I take the baby home first? Could you just wait here? I burst out laughing. As expected, the living are always more important than the departed. It makes perfect sense, though. Mom is already gone, while the three of them are just starting their life together. One journey ended, another just began. How can you even compare? No need. I will drive you three back, I say. Thin Mount never expected me to not only agree, but actually offer a ride. She freezes for a moment, pressing her lips together, thanking me. No need for thanks. I will be completely blunt. Just sign the divorce papers and we are done. The moment I say that, Thin Mount stops dead in her tracks while walking out of the park. With a trembling voice, she asks if I want a divorce because she has KBT and a child now. You three are a family, and I am the outsider who obviously needs to leave. I don't agree to this, Thin Mount says, staring at me with completely red eyes. When I was pregnant, you never mentioned divorce. Now, the baby is born, mom has passed away, and you suddenly bring it up out of nowhere. I have already lost my mom. I really cannot lose you too. KBT quickly chimes in to back her up. Exactly. HOCN, I told you before I would not ever force Thin Mount to divorce you. She is your wife from start to finish, and this child will publicly be recognized as yours. You guys are a family of three. I just need to watch the baby grow up safely and happily, and that is enough for me. I let out a dry laugh. So you want me to raise your kid for you? What a brilliant little calculation. KBT waves his hands frantically, insisting that isn't it. Saying I have completely misunderstood. Thin Mount takes a deep breath, handing the kid to KBT. Head home first, she says. I need to talk to him. Keep it civil, he adds. Do not get mad. KBT gives his final warning and quickly leaves with the child. Let's talk. Thin Mount finally speaks up, but only after she watches him walk far enough away. We have absolutely nothing left to say. I just keep walking toward my mother's grave, but Thin Mount chases after me. She says she knows I blame her about my mom, but mom is gone now. She asks if I remember my wedding promise to take care of her for life. I remember. Then why suddenly ask for a divorce after she left us? I stop in my tracks and turn to look right at her. You think I am breaking that promise just because mom is gone? Completely wrong. The very second you found out you were pregnant with KBT's child and firmly decided to keep it. I already had the divorce papers written out. My mom was severely ill, and she begged me, which is the only reason I stayed. Thin Mount just stands there stunned. I do not say another word. From the exact moment she stubbornly insisted on having KBT's child, I knew any real future between us was completely over, simply because she just did not love me anymore. In her heart, KBT was already way more important than I was. I kind of get it, honestly. He is her unresolved first love, a big regret from her youth. And given the chance to fix that, very few people could resist. But understanding it does not mean I will ever accept it. I am a man. Out of pure love, I could easily overlook all of Thin Mount's little flaws in our life together. But once she crosses the line, give zero leeway. But you are the one I love, Thin Mount says, her face turning completely pale. With KBT, It is only gratitude, she pleads. You know, he lost his ability to have kids because he saved me. I do not actually love him at all. Hearing that just makes me laugh out loud. Just gratitude? You get pregnant, and somehow try to play it off as simple gratitude. So cheating on your husband is just gratitude too, right? She used to say the exact same thing before, that I was her true love. And KBT was just some silly childhood regret. I was foolish enough to actually believe her. But then what exactly happened? She constantly brought up KBT right to my face, comparing us, saying he was better at this, and I was worse at that. And somehow, I just swallowed all of it. But listen to this. One time I rushed home for some important documents, called her for the key, and the guy who actually handed it to me was KBT. She gave it to him to easily fetch things for her. Then Mount tried explaining, but I was completely numb. The house I bought with my own money, decorated myself. Every single little corner was the warm home had poured my absolute heart into preparing. And yet, in the end, another man could just walk in and out freely with his own key. Right at that moment, I just felt like an absolute clown. Pitiful and pathetic to the highest degree. But the thing that hurt the most was actually then Mount's ridiculous explanation. She said she saw I was busy, worried I was too tired, so she gave KBT the key to help fetch her stuff. Huh, what a totally perfect excuse. Completely logical, while also magically showing how much she cared about me. But was that excuse just treating me like a total idiot? From that day forward, I never once asked for the house keys again. There were so many similar incidents. Whenever it came down to me versus KBT, she always found some way to heavily favor his side of the story. There is nothing between KBT and me. Stop overthinking. You are the one I love. Do you not trust me? Those 3 lines were the things she repeated the most. My heart used to ache hearing them, but not anymore, because I am just completely exhausted, with absolutely zero energy left to keep loving her. Let's go. Light mom's incense, then head back and sign the divorce papers. I turn away, walking straight toward her grave. Then suddenly, Mount's phone starts ringing with a completely unknown number. She quickly picks it up. A voice asks if she is the family member of KBT. Your husband and child were just in a bad traffic accident and are currently in the emergency room. Please hurry. What did you say? Mount gasps loudly, her face instantly draining of color in pure panic. How are they? Are they okay? Their condition is quite bad. Still highly critical, the voice says. Please try everything to save them, and we'll be right there. Mount hangs up the phone and immediately turns to leave. Just 2 steps away, she looks back at me, saying, Mom is already gone. She cannot lose this child too. You head back first, and once KBT and the kid survive this critical danger, we will sit down and talk properly. I do not answer, just quietly watching her rush away in a panic before turning back toward the gravestone. I'm so sorry, Mom. Please forgive me. I cannot keep my promise. I simply cannot live peacefully by her side anymore. Returning to the empty house, I start packing up my luggage. A whole week ago, I actually accepted a brand new job in a completely different city. I also already listed this house for sale online. By 5 p.m., Mount still has not returned, and nobody answers her phone either. Now watch how this unfolds. I grab the divorce papers and head straight to the hospital. Mount stands outside surgery, eyes bright red, and instantly throws herself into my arms, crying. The doctors say the baby might not make it. What am I supposed to do now? I freeze for a split second, glancing over at KBT nearby, who somehow only has minor scratches, and I instinctively frown. Completely ignoring my expression, KBT steps right up and pats Mount's shoulder. He sighs heavily, telling her not to worry, saying their child is blessed by heaven and will be totally fine. Mount acts like she didn't even hear him, still hugging me tight, looking up at me with a totally tear-streaked face. Mom is already gone. I simply cannot lose this baby too, she cries. You will stay with me forever, right? No, I answer flatly, gently pushing her back as I pull the divorce papers from my pocket. I came here to get your signature. Before Mount can even react, KBT angrily snatches the document right out of my hand. He yells at me, "Hocang, her child is fighting to survive in there. She desperately needs support right now. And you are making her sign divorce papers? Are you even human? Is your heart made of solid stone?" Outside the operating room, a large crowd hears his shouting, immediately turning their heads to stare and whispering among themselves. This guy is so cruel, completely unworthy of being a man. Demanding a divorce during an emergency? That baby is definitely not his biological child. Exactly, the child is not mine. I lift my head, staring calmly right at KBT. Doesn't she still have you? KBT stays furious, snapping back, I will always stand by her. But you are her actual husband. I just give a faint smile. Husband? As a husband, I look no different from a complete stranger. HOCang, she cries, tears streaming down Than Mount's face even harder now. Mom is already gone, and our baby is in critical condition. If anything worse happens, you are all I have left. Please, just take pity on me. Do not walk away. 4 whole years of chasing her. 3 years of marriage. And this is the very first time I have seen her look this fragile. My chest tightens painfully, and I just lower my head in silence. Than Mount grabs onto my hand, pleading what happened to your mother is my fault. But I honestly knew nothing about the funeral. I never got a single call or message from you. Can you just believe me? As soon as those words drop, KBT's expression completely shifts. I let out a cold laugh, staring him down. Of course, she didn't get it, because the guy who answered that call was him. What? Than Mount immediately turns her head, demanding answers. You got that phone call, so why didn't you say a word to me? KBT looks totally panicked now. He stammers, I have no idea what he is talking about. I never received any calls or messages. He is still denying it to the bitter end. Now watch this payback. I smirk, pulling out my phone and playing the audio recording from that exact day. Mom has passed away. The funeral is scheduled for next week. The recording answers, yeah, I got it. Anything else? Shutting off the audio player, I glare straight at KBT. What about now? KBT goes completely pale, catching the fiery, furious glare Than Mount is shooting his way, and frantically scrambles for an excuse. You have to hear my explanation. I really thought he was just tricking you. You even said it yourself. Her health was still perfectly fine back then. Plus, you had just given birth. Your emotions were all over the place. I was only trying to protect you. You have to believe me here. Enough. Than Mount is physically shaking now. It is exactly because I trusted you too much. You made me miss my own mother-in-law's funeral. I hate you. Get out. Get out of my sight right now. KBT turns pale as ash, but stands completely still. I am not leaving. Our child is still in surgery. I am the biological father. How could I possibly walk away right now? You can be as angry as you want, but I am staying right here. Biological father? Than Mount glares daggers at him. You do not deserve that title. From this day forward, my child has absolutely nothing to do with you. When the kid grows up, I will make sure they know you are the enemy of this entire family. Hearing this, KBT's expression turns incredibly ugly. Gritting his teeth, he glares at me, turns, and storms off. Than Mount looks at me, her eyes brimming with intense guilt. I'm so sorry for trusting him too much. The person you need to apologize to isn't me. It's my mother. I cut her off calmly. Also, just sign the paper. Live a good life on your own with the child. Tears fall down Than Mount's face again as she asks, do we really have to divorce? I know I did something terrible to you. I know I hurt you deeply, but please believe me, I have always held you in my heart. Seeing my utter silence, she drops heavily to her knees right in front of me. Give me just one more chance, and I will spend the rest of my life making up for my mistakes. I will use love and patience to compensate you for everything. I frown deeply. First of all, get up. If you do not agree, I'm not standing up. Hearing those exact words, my expression instantly goes ice cold. Then keep kneeling. The second I say that, I turn to leave. But the operating room doors suddenly swing wide open. The doctor steps out, looking incredibly grim. I am sorry, we did absolutely everything we could. I freeze completely in place, while Than Mount instantly faints on the floor. For 3 whole days, she stays totally unconscious. And the entire time, I remain at the hospital, watching over her hospital bed. When she finally wakes up, the very first thing she does is throw herself into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. HOCang, you are literally all I have left now. I hesitate for a split second, then reach out to gently pat her shoulder. She looks up, face totally covered in tears, asking, you will stay with me, right? I stay silent for a long moment. Then under her desperate, hopeful gaze, I softly reply, just get some good rest. Do not overthink things right now. Since she just woke up, her body is still incredibly weak, and she falls asleep shortly after. I am just about to leave when a call from KBT comes through. HOCang, we need to talk. I reply with a freezing tone. I have absolutely nothing to say to you. He scoffs. I know you do not want to see me, but I have something in my hands. If this stuff gets leaked out, the fallout will be severe. You wouldn't want the company your mother-in-law founded, the empire she spent her entire life building, to be utterly destroyed, right? Hearing this, a heavy sense of dread instantly hits me. You can feel this trap closing, right? A message pops up from him. The second I open it, I freeze in shock. It is a stash of intimate photos of him and them then ent. I instantly figure out his twisted little game. What exactly do you want? If these scandalous photos go public, the impact will be catastrophic. An heir with zero moral decency will never earn the trust of consumers or the corporate shareholders. This company is your mother's entire life's work, so we should really talk. I am waiting at the cafe right outside the hospital. Click. He hangs up instantly. I turn to look at them then Mount resting quietly on her hospital bed, letting out a very heavy sigh. 10 minutes later, I walk into the cafe exactly as planned. I knew you would come, KBT says, flashing this incredibly smug smile. Cut the nonsense and hand over the photos, I demand coldly. He laughs, raising one finger. 100 million for the originals, guaranteeing absolutely zero copies kept. Once I secure the cash, I am heading overseas immediately. You will never have to see my face again. Since your child is already gone, just pretend none of this even happened. You can live happily alongside them and Mount for the rest of your life. I let out a cold laugh. 100 million. Very bold. And I do not believe a single word of your ridiculous guarantee. A guy like him will always come back for seconds. From the very beginning, I never even planned on handing over a single dime. I have no other choice, he complains. Living overseas is terribly expensive, and without enough money, I simply refuse to struggle any longer. Now watch this. Everything suddenly clicks in my brain. You came back on purpose. That is exactly right, KBT replies, smirking even wider. I happened to see them than Mount at her company product launch. That was the moment I realized she was actually incredibly wealthy. She hid it so well. If I knew she had that kind of money, I never would have wasted my time struggling overseas. I never expected things to go this smoothly. I just used a few cheap tricks, and she completely trusted me with total blind faith. My fists clench tight as he keeps talking. The car accident, sacrificing my future to save her, all of it was a calculated plan. He feels zero shame. Instead, he is genuinely proud that her heavy guilt will tie her down forever. With that hanging over her, Bumthen Mount could never just kick me out. I just never expected her to get pregnant and stubbornly insist on actually keeping the baby. I only wanted the cash. I definitely did not want some extra burden dragging me down. Pure horror hits me. Are you saying you caused the accident that hurt the baby? No wonder he walked away with minor scratches while the baby needed emergency surgery. Tossing aside his own child for money, he is truly evil to the bone. Bam! The cafe door kicks wide open. Than Mount lunges straight for KBT, gripping a sharp fruit knife tightly in her hand. I will end you. Before KBT can even process the attack, the blade plunges directly into his chest. Are you seeing this? I am totally frozen. When I left the hospital, she was fast asleep. How in the world did she suddenly show up here? She rips the blade out, then she strikes down again, hitting even harder, and way more ruthlessly. This one is for my parents, for the baby, and for me. By the time I snap out of it, KBT has already stopped breathing. Thin Mount collapses to the floor, her hand still gripping the weapon as she shakes violently. She looks up, eyes filled with agonizing regret. I am so sorry. The police arrive to take Thin Mount away. As she is escorted into the car, she turns back and mouths live a good life. In that exact moment, my chest feels so tight that I can barely even breathe. 1 week later, visit Thin Mount at the detention center. Handcuffed and pale, she somehow still manages to smile at me. Ho-Eng, you finally came, she says softly. Yeah, I reply, always cracking, completely unsure of what to actually say. She just keeps smiling. I got payback for our mom and the baby, paying for my own mistakes too. She feels glad, but I just feel hollow. I hired the absolute best lawyer for you. I choke out. I will visit you all the time. Thin Mount smiles even brighter. Okay, but you must live well on the outside. Make sure you always eat and stay fully hydrated. Wear warm clothes when it gets cold. She keeps talking, but lacking the courage to hear the rest. I silently walk out of the visiting room. Later, I kneel in front of my mother-in-law's grave. Mom, I whisper softly, everything is finally over now. KBT finally paid his dues, but the cost was just too heavy. What am I supposed to do now? A soft breeze blows past, gently brushing against my face like a comforting touch. I stay quiet for a while before finally whispering back, I will just follow my heart.